Alright guys, thought I'd make a crypto update video as I drive through the California hellscape. It's literally a hellscape right now. This is the worst smoke I've ever driven through in my whole life. I can smell it in my car, it's insane. You can see it behind me, not so much. Here, let's see if I can flip the video around and you can see some of the hellscape here. Let's see here if it works. No, it's not gonna work because I'm already recording. But yeah, this is the worst smoke I've ever seen in a drive-through. I'm sure you've heard of the Camp Fire, deadliest, I don't know if it's the deadliest, but it's the most structures or whatever burned in California history in one fire. Basically the whole neighboring town, not a neighboring town, but it's a town that's like a couple hours from where I live, basically just burned the whole town. It'd be the equivalent of my town in the surrounding area, which is completely burned in an inferno, basically. I think Paradise has like 60,000 people. My town's about the same size. Grass Valley is about the same size. So literally just all burnt up within a day. They had 60-mile-per-hour winds, and so basically a fire started, 60-mile-per-hour winds, and we're in a drought here in California, and it just turned into an inferno. So it could very easily happen to my city. I could wake up tomorrow and my whole city would just be in an inferno. But we take the punches as we go, right? We gotta roll with the punches. But these are just part of the Earth changes. You know, these are part of Earth is going through changes. The Earth is definitely heating up. The whole solar system is heating up if you look at the data, and we just have to persevere through it. You know what I mean? Anyways, want to talk about cryptos. So yeah, what I think about the cryptos is it looks to me like we're doing a rounded bottom. We really haven't stayed below 6K for this whole time, right? Every time we go below 6K, it pops right back up. We've basically been in this 6,500 to 6K region for months and months and months. I think it's just doing one long rounded bottom. It's hard to say what's going to set off the next bull market. It's either going to be ETF approval, in my estimation. It's going to be hype from the backed ICE exchange with the Bitcoin-backed futures market, or it's going to be a banking crisis, or some combination of those three, okay? So those are the things we need to look out for to really ignite the bull market, okay? Number one, Bitcoin ETF. Number two, hype around the Bitcoin-backed futures market that's going live December 12th, I believe. And the third is a banking crisis, most likely at this point looks like in Italy, okay? If you follow Reggie Middleton and Cliff High and some of the other people, and you look at just look at the data, it does look like the banking crisis will hit Italy next. Italian banks are in very poor shape. They have a lot of exposure to Turkey and other emerging markets. I'm sure you're aware, it has the banking crisis in Turkey recently. Turkey undergoing hyperinflation, along with Venezuela, South Africa, Brazil, Argentina, etc. This is because the U.S. dollar is collapsing. You know, Cliff High talks about this. The U.S. dollar is rotten and it's dying. And when the reserve currency collapses, the peripherals collapse first. So that's why it's collapsing from the outside in. America will be the last, okay? And the U.S. dollar probably won't. The U.S. dollar will be around for another couple years at least, probably, as it slowly dies, basically, and we move to the crypto system, along with maybe gold and silver. You know what I mean? So yeah, to me, you guys, overall market, it looks like we're all doing one. It's doing one giant rounded bottom. I'm very pleased with the progress of some of the tokens that I'm invested in, and I tell you guys about. I'm very pleased with the progress of Veritasium and Populus. Veritasium is really building out quickly now. They've added digital gold tokens that they actually physically store in a vault, and they're fully insured and everything. Their ERC20 token you can store yourself, and they're redeemable for real gold at any time. They've added silver now, also palladium. They're going to add copper. They're going to have oil. They're going to have platinum, all sorts of stuff, right? They're going to have tokenized real estate sooner than later. Really, yeah, I'm happy with Veritasium and how they're moving forward. They're starting to build out pretty quickly. Populus, more and more invoices are added every month. They're seeing more and more invoice volume. So long as invoice volume slowly grows, I'm happy. Right now they're working on their gold LP so they can have more cash flow, basically just more capital to put into the invoice market in case token holders can't fulfill the amount of invoices they want to list right away. So that'll be a nice, well-oiled machine. Yeah, very pleased with that. Pillar is releasing their wallet, I believe, by the end of this month, so that's good. And then we have the currencies. Okay, we have Bitcoin, Litecoin. These aren't as dependent. It's nice having some of the business tokens because they're more independent of the blockchains. But Digibyte is another one. We should see big growth in these as the banking collapse really hits, a banking crisis, and we see more hyperinflation in more and more of these countries. Right? These nations have nowhere to turn to except for cryptocurrencies, and it's a more efficient system that I think they'll turn to. So yeah, it looks to me like the market's doing one overall just big rounded bottom, and I'm happy with the projects. Especially Veritasium lately. They have their tokenized precious metals already that they added relatively quickly. They're adding in. They're gonna have basically. They're creating smart contracts where you get yield on your gold, which is very exciting. Basically, how it works is it's a smart contract where that will you can put your gold tokens into, so you can take gold and then you can invest that gold into real estate, right? So you can so it's a smart contract basically that it's an automated hard money loan. Not a hard money loan because it has a high interest rate. It's like a gold mortgage, right? So think of it this way. So typically you have, let's say you have $1 million worth of gold, right? So gold's fine. It's a store of value, but it doesn't earn you money every year. So like if you have dividend stocks or rental income from real estate, that gives you income every month, right? That's like a passive income. It gets you yield on your money. Gold just sits in a vault. You might get appreciation in the market versus the dollar, but that's all you're going to get, right? You don't get a passive income from gold. But what you can do now that Veritasium is building is they're building a smart contract. You take your $1 million worth of gold, turn it into gold tokens, put it into the smart contract. You get dollars, okay? So you get $1 million, okay, at a certain interest rate, okay? The gold is a gold-backed loan, basically. And then you can take that $1 million in fiat, and then you can buy a property, okay? And then, so you buy that property with cash, and then you get the rental income. And then the rental income, if it's a good deal, will be more than the interest rate that you're paying for the loan from your gold-backed loan, okay? And so the difference between upkeep of the property or whatever, the overall monthly income minus expenses of the rental property, the difference between that and the interest on your gold-backed loan would be your yield on a month-per-month basis on your gold. And this is a very cool way to earn yield on gold and silver, your precious metal holdings. So not only are you getting the store of value, but at the same time you're getting money on it. So imagine it's a 30-year mortgage, right? At the end of the 30 years, the house is paid for from the renter, and you get your gold tote back to you. So a 30-year mortgage, you get all the gold you initially invested for the loan. The loan would be paid off. You would have the equity of the house and the monthly rental income still. Incredible, right? And the loans won't have to be 1-to-1. Typically, I think that all you really need, I think, is like 35 to 40% of it backed by gold for the loan. So if you need $1 million loan, technically it'd only have to be like a $400,000 worth of gold, or like $350,000 worth of gold. You don't have to have a 1-to-1, although that's like the safest, obviously, but it's not really necessary. And it's a really cool way to basically turn your gold and silver into income producing real estate, right? You're getting yield on your money. You're getting a monthly income from your gold, and you never even had to spend your gold. You just used your gold to get a fiat loan. It's incredible if you really think of it. If you can really wrap your mind around it, it's really cool what Veritasium is doing. Very, very innovative, some of their products. And, Populous the same way. Populous will really shine when, Populous is a English company. They're in the UK, and the European banking system is on the precipice. Just go look at the Deutsche Bank chart. Go look at the Deutsche Bank banking chart, okay? Deutsche Bank's on the brink of collapse. Go look at the Italian bank stocks, along with the Deutsche Bank stocks, okay? Go look at Spanish bank stocks. they've been plummeting. Okay, and what happens when the Turkish banking crisis hits Italy? Okay, I think Italy will get a regional banking crisis, and Cliff-Eye talks about this. It's been showing up in his WebBot data for some time now, and then what will happen to businesses that need invoice factoring, that need these short-term loans? Okay, well, all of a sudden there's populace, right? As the debt system collapses and there's no more invoice factoring from these debt-based markets, all of a sudden you have the populace system, which is a new system, okay? And it's not based off the debt system. It's a whole new capital market, and it's independent. It doesn't matter if the U.S. dollar goes away or there's a banking crisis. Populous works fine because it runs on top of Ethereum, and Ethereum ain't going anywhere. And even if Ethereum did break, they can move Populous to another blockchain. You know what I mean? And so very, very. So that's when a lot of these projects will really shine. Is when we see more shakeup in the financial sector. But all right. That's probably it for this video. I think we're doing one rounded bottom. I do expect the bull market to return anytime. Again, look for those three major events. Bitcoin ETF could trigger it. Just hype around going live December 12th of the backed ICE exchange. And then number 3 would be kicking off of the financial crisis. Okay. Although the financial crisis, we could see a liquidity crisis. So a lot of times what happens is when banking crises start, people and companies and banks sell off their liquid assets to pay off debts. So sometimes what happens when a banking crisis starts, gold and silver and even cryptocurrencies will plummet, do a flash crash because they're selling off their assets. And then as people realize they have to turn to these systems and there's nowhere else to put their money and the debt markets are basically fucked, they have to turn to the cryptocurrencies will move. But those 3 things, okay, so look for those. Keep accumulating. I really think right now you should not be day trading much. Maybe some low market cap coins you can sell on the pumps. But for the major coins that you really believe in, like Populous, Veritasium, the Theta token, Pillar, Omisigo is another great one. Omisigo is releasing plasma any day. Omisigo is I think Omisigo is really close now. And then Bitcoin, Ethereum, Bitcoin Cash if you want to buy that one. Although I like Litecoin the most out of all the big ones. Litecoin, they're low volatility and you just want to accumulate. Okay, so just be buying every week, stack it, buy it every week, put it on your hardware wallet. Buy Populous every week, put it on your hardware wallet. Buy that Veritasium every week, put it on your hardware wallet. Because we're at the bottom of the trough. Okay, at the rounded bottom, we're near it. And even if we go down a little bit more, so what? You're not going to time the exact bottom, which is why you want to just accumulate near the bottom. That's the name of the game. You want to sell near the top, although it's harder to sell the top. It's easier to accumulate the bottom. And that's just what the name of the game right now. So keep stacking and work hard. All right, talk to you guys later. Bye.